I'm gonna tell you about that one time that we got evicted from the apartment that we used to live at while I'm going through some baby clothes that I thrifted. Like I mentioned in the video yesterday, I may end up having to have the baby sooner than we had anticipated, but I don't really know what to expect until we get the results. And in the meantime, I know my baby's gonna be pretty small. I had an ultrasound and last week when I went to my appointment, and they told me that she's about 5 pounds. So if I end up having her within the next couple of weeks, she's probably gonna be like only 6 pounds or so. And so I just wanted to check and see how many newborn clothes I have, how many do I need, and I honestly like to prepare more for like 0 to 3 months old instead of like just newborn. But this clothes I had thrifted like a while back, but I just wanted to go and just double check and make sure how many do I have, just to see what we need to purchase you know, this weekend. But let me tell you about one time that we got evicted from the apartment. That was like the previous apartment we used to live at, and we've been at this apartment for almost 4 years, 3 years now, going on four years now. And I grew up in New Mexico, so obviously I grew up living with my parents, and then it's a small little town. When I first moved out, I used to rent a trailer, a mobile trailer. So rent is not like so expensive out there. So I've never gotten evicted from a place. This was our first experience. So this building where we used to live at, it was like a 3-story building. I think in the past it was like a hotel or something like that, and then they turned it into apartments. It's a 3-story building. We had the apartment where we lived at, we only had neighbors underneath us. We didn't have anybody like next to us or above us, so that was great. We used to live on the 3rd story. That when we moved there, that's when I was pregnant with my little one, who is 5 now. When we moved there, they were like really strict. We couldn't have anything outside, like no chairs, plants, or anything. It had to be completely clean at all times. We had like no outdoor space other than just the little hallway to get into our apartment. It was not like completely covered. It was not like indoors. It was like when we opened our door, we could see the outside, right? So my boyfriend, he's a fan of carne asada and stuff, and so he purchased a grill because he wanted to grill some meat and have some carne asada. We made the mistake that we didn't read through the whole contract, and it said that was not allowed. So we got a letter, a certified letter, telling us that if we didn't remove the grill from the outdoors or got rid of it, we would have like 10 days to leave the apartment. We obviously got rid of it, and so that was that, right? And then we ended up living there for about almost 2 years. The first year was fine, and then going on the second year, my daughter had a birthday, and so her birthday's in December, so it was like during the winter. It was cold, so we were like, well, let's just do something small here, invite a couple of her friends, have a cake for her, and, you know, leave it at that. So that's what we did. We had a little birthday party for my daughter. A couple of her friends from school came, And they had a blast. They were like dancing, playing. They would go outside, play tag and whatnot. Like, to me, that just seemed like normal because my daughter would go outside every day to play with the kids in the apartment complex. So to me, that was like very normal, right? I didn't think anything of it. And then probably closer to end of December, we got a letter, a certified letter, that we had to leave the apartment because apparently our neighbors complained about the birthday party and how loud it was, and it was disturbing the peace in the apartment complex. And because there was a previous warning like a year ago, now it's like zero tolerance, and they gave us 10 days to leave the apartment. It was devastating to me. And I think this is why I am so obsessed with, I want to buy a place. That's like my number one goal. I want to be able to buy ourselves a place that we can call home, a place that nobody can come and tell us, okay, well, you need to pick up your stuff and leave, you know? I was heartbroken. I was disappointed. I felt so many emotions. Number one, I was like, there's no way, like, even if I wanted to fight with them, to me, the level of noise and like the kids playing and stuff like that, it seemed pretty normal to me because every day my daughter goes outside and plays with the kids. So that, like, I didn't understand where that came from. And then, you know, it's one thing, I don't know if you're a parent, but it's one thing when people like complain about something that you did, you know, like they come and tell you about what you did. And there's a certain level of emotions that happen when someone tells you that it was because of something that your kid was doing. Like, I don't know, I was disappointed. I felt like my hands were tied. I couldn't do anything. You know, my job as a parent, my job as a mom is to protect my kids, and I felt like us getting kicked out, I wasn't doing my job, you know, and just so many emotions that were going through my mind. And I had no choice, you know. I had no choice but like, I think I received that letter like around 9 or 10 a.m. And the moment I received the letter, I read it, I was like, okay, well, we need to be out of here, you know. They gave us 10 days to leave the apartment. So I started looking for apartments. I was just like, I was so upset and disappointed. I don't know. The level of like anger and disappointment that you feel is just, I don't know how to explain it because it's like out of your hands, you know what I mean? Like, when you're renting, is like you have no rights, you have no say, you have nothing, because you're at their place, you're at their property, and whenever they want to, they can kick you out. They can, you know, it's I don't know, it was just very upsetting. very, very upsetting. So then I started looking for apartments. I was like, whatever comes up, that's gonna have to be it, you know, because we have no choice. And at that point in time, my boyfriend was the only one working because I was home with my little one. My little one was just a little over a year old. So I was not working. That was when I was like doing YouTube full time. This was like 2020. Yeah, this was 2020 or 2021. I think 2021. Was it 2021? I know it was like 2020. I started looking for apartments. I found this apartment. Thank God it was like within our budget. It's a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom. It has a garage, has a little porch, nothing huge, but I was like, at least there is a little bit of outdoor space for the kids if they want to go play outside, if they want to be outside. If my boyfriend wants to have a grill and grill his carne asada, nobody's gonna tell us anything. And so we inquired about it. We came, looked at it. We were like, we literally had like, it wasn't like we had a choice, right? It was just like, it was available, it was within our budget, that was it. And so those following days, we just started carrying our stuff and moved here. So by January of 2021, we were already here. That's when we very first moved here, and we've been living here since then. Right after that experience, I had mentioned in my previous videos that like doing YouTube back then, I really wanted to get monetized. I really wanted to do everything in my power to get monetized so that I could start earning some money, and so that I can help and we can purchase a place for ourselves. You know, that has always been my goal, but after we got evicted that one time, I think it became like a much bigger goal for me, a more important goal for me. Because that feeling that I had that one time, I don't wish that upon anybody, and especially if you have kids, if you have maybe elderly family members that live with you, or you know, it's or pets. You know, I know sometimes people get evicted because they have pets and they have to get rid of their pets and stuff like that. It's just so sad. But yeah, that feeling of not being able to do anything is it's really disappointing. So being able to get a place that we can call home is like very important to me, especially after that experience. I don't want to go through that again. And I told my boyfriend that next time we move, when we move out of this apartment, I want it to be to our own place that we can call our own. And we've been trying for the last almost 2 years now to get into a place, but for one reason or another, it just has not happened for us. And now more than ever, I keep my faith strong and tell myself that it's gonna happen when it needs to happen. And that's really the only thing I can do, because some things are out of our control, and I know God's timing is perfect, and it's gonna happen when it needs to happen. These little pants. This is adorable. Oh my gosh. So if you're going through a similar situation, I hope you find peace in your heart and be able to hopefully work towards so that the situation gets better. If you're going through a similar situation, if you've gone through a similar situation, I completely understand how you feel. I understand that, you know, some of these situations are like really out of our hands, and all we have to do is just keep going, keep pushing and stuff. Because especially if you have, you know, kids, if you have other people that are depending on you, it's hard. It's hard. There was a quote that I saw one day that said that kids that come from like broken families or broken households, the only thing that they really want is a place to call home, or the only thing that they want is to create a home. And when I heard that the first time, I was like, I started tearing up. Growing up was definitely not an ideal situation. However, I understand that my parents did the best that they could with what they had and the knowledge that they had. So now that I have my own kids, a lot of things that I understand a lot of things that we went through. And I can't help but just to feel sorry for my parents, to feel bad, you know, because a lot of these situations that we go through as adults are out of our control. And I remember back in September when I went back home and I was taking care of my mom because she had surgery. I can't remember what we were talking about, or I don't remember. But my mom made a comment that, oh my gosh, she made a comment that made me want to just bawl my eyes out right there and then, because it just hit me so deeply. And I remember she was saying that it was something along the lines that when we were younger, me and my siblings, all she really wanted was to give us a safe place, a place that we can call home, and enough space for us to live comfortably, a house with enough space. And then she went on to say that now that she has a place with enough space, we are no longer there, because we're all grown-ups, we're all adults, we moved out, have our own families and stuff, and it was just, and it hit hard. It hit, that hit me, because I'm a mom, and right now what I want more than ever is to give my kids a safe place for them to grow and for them to call home. I really hope I get to do that before they grow up and start moving out and stuff. But it was really heartbreaking seeing my mom saying that, because I know it's true. They have big enough of a house. Like if they had that when we were growing up, that would have been amazing to grow up in a place like that. And they have a place in Mexico too. You know, the houses are just like empty. They're just sitting there because there's nobody there. You know, and for me to be in the situation where I'm at, and I'm like, I hope the cycle does not repeat itself, where I'm not able to get a place for my kids to grow up, and then once they move out and are adults, and then I end up getting a place, you know. But yeah, it's, as parents, we do the best that we can with what we have. But yeah, that's why getting a place where I can raise my kids is like one of my top priorities in my list.